Welcome to my YouTube, Robin James, music and reviews. Welcome to my YouTube, Robin James, music and reviews.
I designed M3GAN to protect Katie from feeling lonely. She will recognize you as her primary user. And when you do that, you're gonna pair with her.
Crazy. It's insane, right?
Oh, don't I look nice? Biting my eyes, isn't it pure perfection?
M3GAN, your goal is to protect Katie from harm, both physical and emotional.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare some war. I won't let anything harm you. I love her.
M3GAN's not a person, Katie.
You don't get to say that.
Welcome to Robin James Reviews. So today I've got a new film that actually premieres tomorrow that I had a chance to see a little bit early. It's a sci-fi horror thriller from producer James Wan, and it's directed by Gerard Johnstone, starring Allison Williams. And Allison Williams, you'll probably recognize from the movie Get Out by Jordan Peele. She was really great in that film. So a little bit about this review will be a non-spoiler review. I just want to give you my first reactions of the movie M3GAN, or as I like to call M3GAN, because it literally, you have to type in M3 to have it really pop up in the search on IMDb, which I thought was an interesting title here. And sort of my just instant reaction on it and whether or not I'd recommend it, or maybe who I think the movie might be for. So, first of all, let's start with the director of the film was Gerard Johnstone, and I had not seen any of his previous work. This is sort of probably his first major feature film, but as a lot of people know, January can tend to be the month that films are sort of sent to the cinema to die. It's where they send the movies they don't have, I think, a whole lot of belief in, the movie studios. So they kind of put them out there in January. And unfortunately, this movie sort of fits that mold for me. I can't say I was super entertained, and ultimately it just feels really derivative and similar to a lot of other movies that we've seen, and many of those movies were better than this one. And of course, I think the first movie that comes to mind is Child's Play, as this really feels like a take on that premise and adds in sort of an ex machina, or maybe even The Boy. Like, it just has the vibes of those movies all put into this one. And ultimately, the problem is that all the twists, all the foreshadowing that's done is so obvious that literally the next scene or the next segment, you already know what's going to happen. You've seen this movie before, basically. And it could have been saved probably by better performances or better writing, but it just doesn't have that. It's lacking all those things. It's definitely at best a mediocre effort, and I was a little disappointed, I guess. I mean, I didn't have huge expectations here. The marketing sort of looked that way, like you felt like you were getting into something you've already seen. But with James Wan, he's made The Conjuring, one of my favorite horror movies, and a lot of people love the Saw series. I definitely enjoy the first Saw movie. But his last few films, the last one he directed, which was Malignant, I did not like. And it also, I felt like I could just see all the plot twists coming. And when you have a thriller like this, a lot of times for me, for the movie to work, you have to have that plot twist work. It has to reveal something to me that I didn't see coming. And like Malignant, this movie just never did it. I was kind of waiting for something to change in it that I couldn't foresee, but it just always was really easy to telegraph what the next movement or the next scene would be.
Ever since I was little, I dreamed of this perfect toy that would protect a kid from ever feeling lonely or sad. This is M3GAN.
Hi, M3GAN. I'm Katie.
Talk a little bit about the doll. M3GAN is creepy. She definitely gives off a creepy vibe. But on the flip side of that, she's also cringy. She very much, and I'm sure part of that was intentional, but she like sings in auto tune, and as you're watching it, you can't help but laugh.
Megan?
Baby, don't skill. Don't provoke, cause oh, we will go.
I couldn't anyway. I feel like that in some ways this is probably unintentionally funny, and maybe it could even be elevated in that sense, as people could watch this movie and have a good laugh, because the premise again is not one that we haven't seen. It seems like they think they've brought it into the future and into now, but it just really brings nothing new to that genre. And another problem I had was our lead character, Allison Williams, really is unlikable. And not that Allison's a bad actress or anything. I just think that the writing doesn't make her really seem that redeemable. Everyone keeps warning her of the dangers here, and they're making like really good points of why not to do this, which I thought actually was probably the strength of the film, is that it was somewhat relatable in that, what she was doing was going to be more damaging to kids than helpful. And you know basically the point of this is that she's going to create a robot that's sort of like a toy, but it really learns about you. It talks to you and with you and listens and interacts with you in a way that's not pre-programmed. It seems way more natural. And again, I think there could be some interesting stuff to do with that, but this is just a premise that has been done to death. And unless you're coming with something super original in that, I don't think it usually works. And here it just didn't. So, another thing I'd like to talk a little bit about before I let you know overall my score and whether or not I'd recommend the film is just that uh, I think this movie can work on some levels, and the levels I thought about it working is if I were a kid, like if I were somewhere between the ages of 12 and 16, I think this movie would have probably appealed to me a lot more. I think that the child actor in this movie who plays, I believe her name was Katie, she was pretty good. I thought some of her scenes, she showed some really good emotion and pretty decent range. It's hard to find really good child actors, so I thought she did all right. But I think that the doll itself, Megan, would be something as if we were kids, we would have got a kick out of, and some scares because it is creepy, but also some laughs because it, like I said, there's some real cringy scenes here. People that haven't seen a lot of these kind of movies, I think the twists and things might work better on because, again, it just seemed really telegraphed for me, someone who's seen a bunch of these type of films. So those two groups I think could enjoy this. But I would like to know down in the comments if you guys go see Megan, did you enjoy it? Were you able to kind of piece the story together before it happens, or did it work for you? And so ultimately though, I do have to say that I couldn't say let down by the movie because I didn't have high expectations, but it did not take me by surprise. It did not wow me. I would probably give Megan or M3GAN a 5 out of 10, and I would give it a mild recommendation if you were looking for something to watch at the theaters this weekend. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. As I just went off the top of my head here to tell you a little bit about my experience watching Megan for the first time. And I hope you do enjoy the movie and let me know what you think about it. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave me any comments to let me know what movies you'd like to see me review in the future. Thanks again for dropping by Robin James Reviews as we learned a little bit more about the movie Megan.
Welcome to my YouTube, Robin James, Music and Reviews. Welcome to my YouTube, Robin James, Music and Reviews.